Good morning and welcome to Tarot Time. And if you're watching as a video, we're going to dive into this very shortly. We've got a lot to talk about this week. Was there anything that happened this last week that's of importance? Just kidding. So anyway, what we do for Tarot Time, discuss a little bit of the current events. We do a meditation card for the week. We do a 3-card spread. I've got other cards, divination tools. And we try to really pick up on the energies of the week to try to get a heads up on what's going on in the world around us, what's going on in our community, what's going on in your lives, and so forth and so on. So I'm going to say a few quick hellos while the live people get their notifications, and we're going to dive on in. So hello, MDR, Suzette, Sunniverse, welcome. At breakfast with a friend, nice, and enjoy. And tonight, Blindly Inspired, Chris is going to be on Mr. Floyd's Universe channel for an amazing interview. So you guys may want to catch that later on. Hi, Millie. Hi, Kisses. Carla. Doreen of Children's School of Yoga. Welcome. Welcome, Chris. Millie, Carla. Boy, I know I'm a minute or two late. Hi, Roseanne. Hi, KD. And anybody that I missed. Hello, Janice. All right. Any of you guys see the Northern Lights Friday? They were out Friday night. I didn't see them. I couldn't see the sky on Friday night, and there's this kind of weird moisture falling from the sky. I think we used to call that rain. Just kidding, of course. But what's not so funny is that every state except for Hawaii has at least some part of it currently in some level of a drought right now, and it's bordering on serious here. There's big fires in New Jersey. There's burn bans here. It virtually hasn't rained in 2 months, which is crazy. There's a nice cross country store, but you guys in Colorado enjoy the snow. You guys in the Central Plains to the south don't enjoy the severe weather, but be aware of it. Be aware of the flooding in the Carolinas. Again, even though we're in a drought situation in the country. So yeah, but there was an aurora on Friday, which kind of brings up an interesting question. Something, if you guys want to talk about or debate on something other than politics or the elections, is are these current round of aurora borealis and aurora, I forgot what they're called in the southern hemisphere, is that really natural, or is that all HARP generated? So that's a good topic for conversation. And speaking of droughts and crazy weather and everything, is our weather natural, or is it completely unnatural, or completely what's the right word, controlled by technology or whatever? I'll get to that in a second. You guys, if you want to chime in on that, that's fine. If you don't want to, that's fine also. We've got a lot of other things going on, and as I did the posts for Tarot Time today, I talked about, is there going to be a recount? I think by the end of this week, we'll find out, not necessarily if there'll be a recount, but if we're trending in that direction. Frankly, to me, and I'm not really of support of either of the candidates, whether it's Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. I have concerns on for both. I'll put it that way, but I just haven't seen a fair election in a while. I don't think. I'll put it this way. It just seemed too easy. The way it all happened, it just felt off. It didn't feel right to me. And then in 2020, that didn't feel right either. 2016, that didn't feel right either. And what I would say about that is keep an eye on alternative news sources. Obviously, the public, especially here in America, is very triggered, very charged, and very hyper focused on what's going on in the elections. So my motto is, if the media and the powers that be are pointing in this direction, look what's going on in this direction. It could be a sleight of hand, smoke and mirrors kind of a tactic. So let's see what else is going on, right? With that. So personally, my belief, I'll put it this way, giving it somewhere between a 10 to maybe 20% chance that Trump does indeed get sworn into office. I think it's January 20th or right around then, but it's not 100%. And as I had predicted before the election, that this is going to be hotly contested no matter who wins, that we're not going to have a clear-cut winner for a while. And even though we do, in one sense, there's so much debate and there's so much coming out. So we'll see what comes out about that. I want to check in with your comments. And if you guys are new to Tarot Time, this is also basically our community hangout. So there's a lot of comments going on. I'm not able to read the whole comment thread, but there's a lot of conversations that are going on. There's a lot of interaction. So feel free to chime in, let us know what's going on. Lakeside Lord says that he's glad that he won. Great rising, Yvonne. Hi, Suzette. Hi, Miss J. I hope you're doing somewhat better, Janet. I did do the healing. If you didn't see that, if you didn't see my message, that I did do the healing for you. Hi, Kaylee, Millie. Keep doing what we're doing. We'll keep watching. Yes, I agree about both. Or either candidate for Claire. All right. 27 feels all for me. All right. All right. So I'm just kind of hi, Colleen. You mentioned of HARP. Yeah, drought has been predicted for a long time. Is this the drought? Maybe trending in that direction, but I'm gearing up for a flood here, actually. Yeah, I'm just thinking what I'm going to do, because I just know how these trends are. Everything tries to balance out in nature. If it's been dry for months and months, when it rains, it's going to rain or snow or freezing rain or whatever. And I can walk to the creek, which is great. It didn't flood during Irene, which is the benchmark for modern time flooding in this area, but that was only 8 inches of rain. What if we get 18 inches of rain? This atmosphere can reduce it, because the atmosphere is getting warmer. Warmer air holds more moisture, can precipitate more, whatever the cause. If it's human cause or natural cycles, whatever the reason, the atmosphere is warmer and the climate is changing. So getting back to a little bit of astrology, because it's very interesting. We have two things going on with the planet Saturn, and Saturn is often about like lessons, karma, things that are challenging and difficult, things that we need to learn. So Venus is going into Capricorn, which isn't that big of a deal. That happens every year, but it just so happens that within a day or two, that Saturn, the ruling planet of Capricorn, goes direct. So Saturn's stationed now. So a lot of Saturn energy. So it's going to be very scrutinizing. And we just have to stay in our own lane, stay in our hearts and stuff like that. So getting back to the question, Josh chimed in, Laura, and said that he's out with friends having breakfast, though he's not live with us today. We know, with the aurora borealis and stuff like that. We from Pennsylvania, they could see it on Friday. I think it wasn't a bright one. Like, you needed the night setting, the camera to see the color. It's still the aurora. So why we had so much aurora? We know that the HARP can generate artificial auroras. We know that's science. So that's not a debatable topic. But and it's conjectured. I don't necessarily know this for sure, but it's said that there's HARP generators all around the globe near the. Now, why I say it's not conjecturable is because they actually did experiments in Alaska to prove that technology could do that. HAARP. I forgot what it stands for, but it can manipulate the atmosphere and and in the stratospheric realms. I have to read up more on that, so that next week I'll have more information on exactly what HARP is. But um, I personally, I don't see the evidence that we have the technology to affect this, and we're also in the solar maximum. Every 11 years, we hit a solar maximum where there's more solar flares and stronger ones. Um, we're in it now. We were in 2014. Anybody remember the 2003 event? That was the benchmark for auroras here in the Catskill Mountains. That blew away the May, and I didn't see May because it was cloudy. May 10th and October 10th. It was probably 4 or 5 times brighter. Not as colorful, but brighter. And it shot from the north to the south. That was Aurora Borealis. OMG. People in Texas could see that. Yeah, that was on the level of a Carrington event that happened in 1859 that knocked out the whole telegraph system. So the other interesting thing is weather modification. We know that that's a fact. We know that weather can be modified. Can we steer hurricanes? Can we steer storms? I don't know why I'm talking about this today. Maybe that's going to come up in the news again. But do we have the technology to create large-scale changes, to change the entire atmosphere? I'll tell you, with geoengineering, HARP, and other things, what it takes to steer a storm is changing the temperatures at different levels of the atmosphere, which affects the steering currents that steer the storms. Frankly, it's to me, for what I know about meteorology, and I graduated with a degree in meteorology, by the way. From what I know about it, it would be easier to affect the strength of a hurricane than the movement. So that seems it's within realms. Shifting the local currents, that's possible. So I think there's some rudimentary ability to steer storms, but that's my take. But at the same time, I cannot rule out the theory that there's greater control over that. Why can't I rule that out? Because I don't know what technology's out there. I don't work for the government. I know that there's advanced alien technology that may be used. There may be technology we're not aware of that can create a global aurora, that can create global weather patterns and adjust global weather patterns. Personally, I don't see that. So I don't believe that, but stay open, right? Because there's so much going on. And again, with these elections, we're so hyper focused on this was wrong, this was taken, this candidate's crazy, this candidate's weak, all the accusations, right versus left, blah, 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 and all this stuff. Where everybody's so charged and hyper focused, keep an eye on what's going on, basically. So let me see what you guys are saying about all that. Toys, each their own, I suppose. I'll tell you, a big group of us working together can create shifts too. That's a great comment. Yes. And we know we can modify weather with consciousness. Absolutely. And I've done this. I have many examples of that. I've done this myself. I've done this with groups. Maybe in Spirit Fest 2025, we'll experiment with some group consciousness, see if we can modify the weather. I'm planning on doing that as a 4-day event, by the way. So we can start first week of August, or right around then. We're going to do that again. So what's Mike Morales talks about? Above Ground News covered HARP thoroughly. God rest his soul. Oh, nice. Thank you. So that's a good place to research. Thank you for that. Taylor saying, I'll never understand why anyone, especially a woman, would support a man who is blatantly disregard respectful to women to the point of assaulting them in public. I think they are. That valid point. And what are we saying? May 10th was my puppy's birthday, hence her name Moonshine. It was a new moon. Oh, okay. Thank you for that. Keep focused on your ultimate goal. Yes, blindly inspired. Thank you for that. And people that are not, because blindly inspired, Krista's in Germany, people that are not in the US, they kind of have a view of the outside looking in. So I would pay attention to what people in other countries are saying also, to be honest. So many around it. Hey, Colleen. All that. Watch, guys, see the difference of natural versus not. That's all right. Thank you for that. Very good. So we're getting into tarot in a second, guys. Hang in there. But this is all part of it. The one time I paid attention to any of it was on election day. Yeah. Oh, I have a comment up. Watch this guy. Oh, I love Siamese cats. And when I see Siamese cats, that opens my heart. We are Siamese, if you please. We are Siamese, if you don't please. Probably the only thing I remember from The Lady and the Tramp, because I grew up with a Siamese cat named Strephon from Pirates of Penzance from Gilbert and Sullivan. My parents loved Gilbert and Sullivan, so they named our cats Strephon. Hit the like button. That'd be nice. If you guys like what we're doing, hit the like button. That would be awesome. So let's dive into a little bit of tarot. What's you're saying? Can we do a moment to set intention for the safety and the health of all? Yes, we can. Be fired. Let's do a little moment of silence. You just put the prayers out there. Humanity's hurting. And I think that that's more important than who won, who didn't won, or whatever. Humanity's hurting right now. It's, in my opinion, orchestrated for that. You know, when we're hurting, when we're angry, when we're divided, we're weak and we're easy to control. Let's just open our hearts, send a lot of love out there, unity consciousness. We don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree, but let's not disconnect because of our opinions or how we see the reality, because a lot of it is programmed. You know, I mean, I'll admit that I'm programmed. Otherwise, how am I going to transcend the programming if I deny the fact that every moment of every day somebody's trying to program my mind, basically. But when you're in the heart and the unifying field, you become resistant to the programming. So stay in that compassion. Little brief moment of silence and prayers. Thank you. Thanks, Mary, for the suggestion also. And this is really what we need to do. You know, this is really what we need to do. Yeah, purple for the people, so that exactly. We have a lot of nasty work to do. Yes, MDR. I love the prayer from the Healing Temple in Lilydale. Did they do a prayer there? I wish I was there, but it's a little bit of a drive. I made the drive on April 8th for the eclipse. I got to sit in the cloud cover and watch day turn to night for 3 minutes. But other than that, I didn't see an eclipse. I felt it, and I did sweat lodge, so that was good with Dr. Neil. So that was wonderful. Yes, thank you for popping in and out. Hope to see you too. Chances are I'll be busy, but if not, I'll pop in also. And that's it. So the idea, keep the unity going. Yeah, don't let them divide us. Have your opinion. You know, that's intelligent. I have opinions. I'll do more research. Sometimes my opinions change because I'm not my opinions. It's something I have, but a lot of people are confused about that and think that if God forbid, if their opinion is challenged, that their life is challenged, they've got to be defensive and fire back you. It's just a survival instinct. You know, again, we don't want to criticize anybody. People are programmed. We want to be in the heart. We want to be in the unifying field and have compassion. So, you know, I kind of went on. I did a post about my if I was a Democrat, that I'd be fuming now. A lot of people took that the wrong way, but that was just my opinion. You have a different opinion. Guess what? I love you anyways, right? But anyway, you know, the point being is that I just thought that Donald Trump had, or his advisors, wasn't Donald Trump. Apparently, Barron Trump, his son, was a big proponent of getting him on the podcast and giving him a much more of a modern campaign that actually worked. Whereas, you know, spending millions for celebrity endorsements is passe. And you know, anyway, my take was that the Trump campaign was much more succinct and much more effective than the Harris campaign. And I would have been I'd be upset and angry if I supported Kamala, to be quite honest, or Kamala. Let me keep remembering to pronounce her name correctly. Kamala, not Kamala. Kamala. All right. So let's go into some tarot. I think we've driven that point to the ground, right? I'm gonna. All right, so let's do a meditation card for the week. Did I miss anything with you? Well, the full moon's coming up also on Friday. I forgot what the degrees are of the full moon, but the Taurus full moon and the Scorpio full moon are the two strongest energetically of the year. So we had that Scorpio Taurus stellium. Is that the right word? Whether it's the sun or the moon in Scorpio, because a full moon is always a sun moon opposition. Those are very powerful. The moon is exalted in Taurus, meaning it tends to have a more of a higher resonance when it passes through that sign. It's worse. I'm just kind of keeping an eye. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was a better campaign. He got on Joe Rogan, America's most watched podcast. What podcast did Kamala get on? Basically, he identified his weaknesses in the Biden campaign and focused his campaign on those weaknesses. A lot of that was the Latino votes in specific areas. He got those. He raised that 2%. That's huge in a presidential race. 2% is monumental. For somebody that's allegedly or accused of being a bigot and sexist or whatever, getting 2% of a minority vote, And by the way, I'm not saying his campaign was nice. I'm not saying it was friendly. I'm not saying it was positive. I'm just saying from a strategic point of view, it was superior, basically. Does that make sense? Anyway, back to unity. Yes. So Chris is saying, I'm seeing a lot of things the year kind of wants to do, like removing fluoride from the water, poison, we're going back to better farming practice. Time will tell. It's very, very mixed. I'm seeing that also, and then I'm seeing the other side of it. Yeah, I try to be open to other people's opinions and what their take is. Not that I'll agree with it, but I don't want to just be closed-minded and reject what other people are feeling and seeing and understanding, basically. But in an idealistic sense, there's also some movement apparently through that through the Trump administration or the coming Trump administration, assuming that it doesn't get derailed. More equality with things like exchange rates or whatever. Yeah, and anyways, I think we've had it up to here with politics. So let's see what else we can pick up on for this week. So with meditation, like any other meditation, we get present. When we're out of our thinking mind, then we're more in spirit, and we want to open our heart and feel. And this is a big thing. This is a big part, getting away from the politics and what's important, which is spiritual awakening. All this is catalyzing new levels of awakening. All this is catalyzing new information being known by people. And part of it is understanding how we've been played for so many decades, if not centuries, by the powers that be, and still are. But the heart's the unifying field. So when we get out of our thinking mind, we connect to spirit. Our thoughts, our programming, our prejudices, all that stuff is what creates a severing between who we are as spirit versus the illusion of who we are as physical beings in a body. So when you start to remove some of that internal dialogue, you start to get present, you start to kind of soften some of the programmed prejudices and all that stuff. When you start to remove that, what naturally happened is you start to realign and reconnect with spirit or source, which is why every spiritual practice under the sun, virtually, if not literally, every religion has meditation and or prayer connected to it, because the idea is you've got to get present, and then you've got to let all this stuff fall away, and then you start to feel, as soon as I do that, I feel the currents immediately, and it's not subtle, but you start to shift and you start to align more with your higher self, or who you are as spirit, who you truly are. They say when I do mediumship, when I died, I remembered, basically. They say, with the first or second generation starseeds that I've talked to, meaning the new souls, that they, even though that they're not from here and they came here with a mission in order to come into this reality, this human reality, they had to forget, and part of their mission was they needed to remember who they are first and foremost, and then help to guide humanity. So we're in this lifetime, we're on a mission to remember who we are, and all these things, Trump versus Harris, right versus left, all this is distracting us from knowing who we are. And we can't allow that to happen. Otherwise, they win. They being the powers that want to rob us of our humanity, of our spirituality. They win when we do that. So remember that, first and foremost, what's really important. Once you have that sealed, then yes, politics are important because it dictates our day-to-day life. Well, not dictate, influences our day-to-day life, if that makes sense. But like that Avett Brothers song, Head Full of Promise, Heart Full of Doubt. I don't know if you guys know that one or remember that one. But one of the striking lines is that, God, I forgot the first part of it, but the second part of that line, and your life didn't change by the man who's elected, or in this case, the man or woman who was elected. And that's true. Right, Chris, all trying to divide. That's why I loved your comment on that post about my take on the election. Was my favorite, because Chris said, you have an opinion, I have an opinion. I don't agree with your opinion or all of your opinion, but does that mean that I stop respecting you or stop following? No, it's just an opinion. It's just an opinion, right? So I honor that. I love hearing your different opinions. And there's a reason why when I come on live streams, you're going to see a pretty equal voice for people that support the Democrats versus the Republican, because I'm trying to bring a more of a holistic view into play here. So in other words, I'm not alienating any one group, basically. At least I'm trying not to. Remember doing the astrological readings, in a video I did a while ago, and this is how programmed people are. Like if you're not with them, you're the enemy. It's programming is emotional hijack. That's part of the programming, and it hijacks the survival instinct. So it's almost like, you don't agree with me, you're a threat to my life, and I'm going to attack you. That's how it's orchestrated with us. So I did this post. It's very down the middle. I basically and I didn't even know how prophetic this was. I mean, in my opinion, it's prophetic that at the end of the day, I said it's still Harris's race to lose, but do not count Trump out. That was before I remote viewed into the White House and saw a man sitting in the Oval Office. I was like, oh, okay, I guess Trump's going to win then. So I did that actually a few days before that. But anyway, point being is that kind of laid it all out, basically, and yeah, and I honestly, my opinion is that not so much that Trump won the election, but Harris lost it basically, and that's again just my opinion. I know she worked hard. I know she did a lot of things. I know she's out campaigning. I'm not suggesting others. I just think that the other side had a much more of an effective campaign strategy. Obviously, if you can trust the polls, you know, if he's able to make up 4% in the polls and actually win the election, and I don't think it was even that close. But then again, a lot's coming out. Is there going to be a recount? That's kind of what I started this. Is there going to be a recount? Not out of the question, but the reason I don't think it's going to happen, this is more logistic than psychic. The reason I don't think it's going to happen is that how's that going to make the U.S. look in the world if we can't even get our what together to have a fair election? So anyway, back to tarot. It's all part of it. Well, I'm still in the high 40s on the count, so my rap here hasn't made too many people leave. So when meditating, again, get into the heart, the unifying field, that like any other meditation. And what you want to do is step into the card in your mind, and the first step is to feel the energy. How do you feel once you open your heart? You're not thinking, you're just breathing. Gauge how you feel. Then step in the card like it's a window or a doorway. As soon as you step in, how do you feel? And the connecting to energy and spirit starts there with just how you feel, because our emotions as well as our body, because we have a nervous system that's electrical, are vibrational indicators, so you can discern energy through just how you feel. So let's see what card we pull. And this is the card we got. So we've been getting a lot of major arcana cards. Luckily, we got Raphael the healer. We need healings, temperance. I mean, in a way, yeah, that can be a card of moderation, because that was a term that came out on the prohibition. But it's also about good. It's about healing. It's like one cup pouring water into the other cup. This is the Morgan Greer deck. The Archangel Raphael's got the halo around. Got the wings. You're standing 1 foot in the water. This is what's getting my attention. 1 foot's in the water, 1 foot's on the land. Water's emotions and feelings, land its physicality. So we have to really balance the emotional part with our lives. This is in some of the Native American traditions. This was what would be called frog medicine, the dweller of two worlds, that has 1 foot in one world and another foot in another world. So that's part of the message, but that's just the meaning of the card. When you step into the card in your meditation, you might get a whole other meaning or a whole other take. But if this is part of the reading also, this is about really finding that balance, not again, moderation, not getting so charged, getting more, getting some healing, just taking things in and being a little bit more neutral. I love Raphael too, Doreen. Yes. And this is what I started the show out today, just saying that I don't think they've been fair, and thank you, Blindly Inspired. So she's going to be on Mr. Floyd's channeling channel doing some feng shui advice. Nice. We're heading into the year of the snake in a couple of months, so we're going to go from dragon to snake soon. Yes. Here's a nice comment here. Yes, I remember. You have such a gorgeous soul. Please stop harming yourself for something that is not your fault, not one tiny bit. You deserve happiness and love, and I understand the pain. That's a nice prayer, basically. Yeah. Archangel Raphael. Yeah, exactly. Very good. Very good. 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on the earth, balancing the two cups, having a little triangle, connecting the heart and the throat chakras, and having the halo or the sun behind him or her. Snakes, lots of transformation. Yeah, snakes shed their skin. This is transmutation of poison to medicine. Not everybody knows that snake venom. People, I think people do know, they know more about the medicinal value of bee venom. The poison is the medicine, it's just how it's applied. In this case, dosage. Tiny little bit of venom could be medicine. A lot of it will kill you, just like digitalis from foxglove. A little bit of it, heart medication. A lot of it, goodbye. See you on the other side. So very, very good. Yeah. Sorry that you've had depression, Kaylee, also. And guys, you have to remember, it's not our fault. The thing is, guilt and shame is such a low vibration. It's even lower than anger and fear, according to David Hawkins. So when you start to blame yourself and you start to accept that, then you go into that guilt and shame mentality. You made a bad decision, own it, learn from it, move on, be present, right? And what's going on out there, yes, as a collective we create it, but it's part of our learning and growth. It's not blame yourself. Oh, I created such an awful reality, it's all my fault. No, it's the classroom that you created. That's all it is. As a collective, this is the playing field. This is the classroom that we created, because it's a collective. This is the best possible reality in this time and space for our spiritual growth and evolution, because that's the process of us as spirits. Is we're going into higher and higher, expanding. Just as the universe is expanding, so are we, and connecting more and more with the ultimate source, from the ultimately where we came from, basically. So anyhow, let's do a 3-card spread. So this will get us into our week ahead. It's likely to be very eventful in the news. My take is, know what's going on in the news, know what they're saying. Every now and then I'll watch the Super Bowl. I might do it this year, not because I care about football. I mean, if the Jets were in it, I care a little bit, because when I was a kid, well, actually I like the Miami Dolphins, but one time I liked the Jets, but I want to see the commercials, not because I like the commercial. I want to see how what they're doing to program people now, basically. But programming also happens in frequencies. There's the Montauk Project. They were using radio waves in the 70s to program people. Now they have very advanced on a similar frequency. A radio, it's all light, it's all energy. Everything travels in waves. And now they have much more sophisticated ways of doing that. It's not just radio waves, it's Wi-Fi signals, it's cell signals. So we're always subject to energetic programming, to vibrational programming. If you use a cell phone, if you use a computer, you're getting information. TVs, right? I think it was you that had something very interesting to say about the dynamic of the signals of TV and how that affects the center of the base of the brain, near the back of the neck. Now, I've been feeling a lot of attacks on my neck. Ever since its election, I've been feeling that. So I've been doing a lot of energy clearing, and it's really because those that want to program and control everything, you want to call them the elite, the cabal, deep state, or whatever. They're desperate. They're losing. So they're really, really trying their best to control things. So there's a lot of that going on. So nothing spirituality is complicated, all very simple. The simple solution: dwell in the heart. The unifying field. Hearts cannot be programmed. I don't care what they're doing with energy and frequency. The heart's stronger because it connects to universal heart. It connects to universal love, the most powerful force in the universe. Hearts cannot be programmed. The more you dwell in the heart and do heart-brain coherence, whether you do the technical exercise heart-brain coherence, or I have a modified way that I do and I teach you guys, and I'm overdue to do a heart-brain coherence video. Maybe that'll be this Thursday's video. But whatever the case, when you can really get into the heart, feeling grateful, feeling compassionate, that's what makes a heart coherent. Nothing's complicating spirituality. That's what makes the heart coherent. The heart's stronger than the brain. The heart's the magnetic field. Your hearts are a magnetic field. It's the generator. It's the battery. A battery is a right and a left, or a positive and a negative, right? It's two dipoles. It's magnetic that creates power and energy. So the heart's the battery, and the brain's the transmitter and receiver of that information. So but the heart's stronger. So when you get that battery cooking, and that the brain and the heart blend and they become one. So then you become resistant to programming because your brain is more in the heart frequency, it becomes resistant to that. It's important. Yes, Katie Bluebird. In fact, I have a playlist. I think I have a playlist. If not, I will have one in a couple of days, but I think I have a heart brain coherence playlist. It might be heart brain coherence and shadow work combined or something like that, but I have a playlist. I'm going to do a new video. I just made up my mind. I usually film my videos Monday. We upload them Thursday. So that's what's coming, a new heart brain coherence video. I'll add them. Of course, I honor the masters like Joe Dispenza, Greg Braid, and Heart Math Institute, and that still forms the framework of how I do heart brain coherence. So it's still the classic exercise, but there's things that I do that I feel makes them more powerful. I mean, you guys can let me know if you agree or not. But it makes it more powerful for me. And the idea of being a spiritual teacher, I'll give you a clue. Like the way that I teach is I'll share with you guys what works for me, basically. And I'll encourage you to learn the exercise exactly how I'm teaching it. That's how I teach my mediumship classes also. Because once you do that and you understand the concept of it, and that's the key word, the concept, not the form of it, but by doing that, once you understand the concept, then modify it, because what works for me may not work exactly the same way for you. So that would be my key. But you have to, and again, when in Rome, do as the Romans. If I'm doing a seminar with Joe Dispenza, I'm going to do the exercises the way Joe Dispenza does it. I'm going to absorb it. I'm going to make it my own. And once I understand the concept, why he's doing it and what it's doing, then I can modify it for my own personality. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, back. It definitely works. So here's a little recommendation there. Who's Stephanie? I know somebody named Stephanie's here. Hi, I thought it was you. Hi, Stephanie. Whenever a new manifestation is truly desired, set into motion energetically, the initial thing that arrives is an echo. That's a great point. To see if we still react the same way. Wow. Round of applause to Stephanie. Absolutely, yeah. So, I would say I'm very chatty this Sunday morning, but this is every Sunday morning. And it's amazing because I didn't get home till midnight from doing like a mediumship event up in freaking Amsterdam, New York, like 2 hours for me. So not much sleep, a little punchy this morning. Yeah, getting back to Stephanie's point, it's like the old self, what we're used to is always going to show up and challenge us. And we have to keep working through that. Why? Because it's a survival instinct. The subconscious mind will always gravitate towards what's familiar, because the more familiar, the more survivable, according to the subconscious mind. So if you try to change, the subconscious mind is like, wait, what are you doing? That's dangerous. You're going to kill us. I'm going to make you stop. Basically, that's the chatter that goes on. And then the same thing shows up. You have to keep that resolve. You have to push through the resistance. And once you do that, then it starts to change, right? So anyway, and then Haley, and that's an example. But with your horrible words, or they harbor words that you heard over and over again, And then you heard them so many times, it became a habit. And then that habit became a program. And then you ran with that program. That's how it works. Yeah. So when you catch yourself, and that's what I do, when I catch myself in that kind of negativity or that programming, and this is what Joe Dispenza teaches, I step out and observe myself reacting, observe myself. Then I'm not the program. I'm watching the program in action. Do that enough times, then you start to transcend it, basically. So that's the exercise. And I get angry and frustrated because that's what we all have our issues. Mine is anger and frustration. When I catch myself reacting that way, I'm not going to stop the reaction. I'm going to let it happen, but I'm not going to be that anger. I'm going to observe it. So that makes sense. All right. Anyway. Yeah. Reprogram ain't easy. That's why you've been struggling with it. It's not easy. I've been doing this over 40 years. My martial arts teacher was very strict about counter conditioning. He didn't call it programming; he called it counter conditioning. And he was also part of the Black Panther movement, which is really called the Panther Party. But I don't have time to go into that. You can thank the media, for making what started out to be a peaceful civil rights movement into a bunch of violent dark-skinned people. Basically, that's not what it was about. But anyway, he was very, very knowledgeable about the ways of the programming, the ways of the conditioning, or whatever. So I went through counter conditioning in my 20s. So I have a lot of compassion for people because they didn't have the benefit of the training that I had, if that makes sense. Whoever that was, Wendy. Thanks, Wendy, for bringing up Ho'oponopono prayer. It's it's so simple. Again, it is so simple. Nothing in spirituality is simple. So hey, Lisa, medium too about Trump. Yeah, the thing is, I was favoring Harris up until maybe a month to 6 weeks ago, and I decided, even though I'm, kind of a moderate, I kind of walk the middle line in politics, so to speak. In the heart, not the wings, as it were. It still matters who's the president. It's hard to get out of that personal perspective. I look at all the psychic predictions out there. It was divided. The ones that I know their background. Oh, wow. Guess what? The ones that are more Democratic leaning predicted Harris. The ones that are more Republican leaning predicted Trump. Imagine that. So I wanted to get out of that. I mean, I'm an independent now, but I was raised a liberal Democrat. So again, I probably still have a twinge of that programming deep in there, even though I don't believe in that. But anyway, long story short, I get into really, really deep trance, very deep. Went into my heart, all that stuff. And I set the intention to remote view into the future. I did that. I went into the White House and I saw a man, Donald Trump's profile, sitting in that Oval Office. And I was like, and that's when you guys might have noticed that somewhere along the line, I started to favor Trump being the eventual winner rather than Harris. So anyway, I just mentioned that because Kayla told you about being a medium also. And I don't know. I missed your comment. I don't know if you're saying that you were able to get the right prediction or not with that, or but in any event, I as it is, we're almost an hour already, and I haven't even started the 3 card spread. So as it is, taking up a lot of time here. So let's get into the divination part finally. We've been holding strong at 47, so I guess you guys aren't minding me kind of going off in this. There's 2 ways to clear your mind, right? Because when you're thinking, you're not connecting. When you're connecting, you're not thinking. I'm thinking, where the heck is my clipboard right now? Here it is. So one way is I just go into my heart, but the other way, what I just did, I was talking about something else and just allowing spirit to move my hand to find the cards. Interesting. I'm getting a lot of pentacles, so a lot with money, I want to say. Very, very interesting spread. Very, very Earth. The devil card, Capricorn, Saturn, not Saturn, Venus is moving to Capricorn, Saturn's station now. Money, I mean, that could be Trump, that could be something else, I don't know, but to me, it's kind of interesting. The devil card is an outcome. I'll start with the last card and move back. It's not evil, it's not Satanism, none of that stuff. Everything's symbolic in tarot, but it can show us where we're stuck, where we're bound. Basically, what's holding us back from our revolution, but it's reversed. So, in other words, this is a week where we can just let a lot of stuff go, put it all behind us. I think part of this, they're all reversed. They're all pentacles. Pentacles can be our ideas. It can be our programs. It can be our thoughts. It can be our beliefs, all this stuff. I think like they're saying, let it go. And I'll share with you a little exercise I like to do that I learned in a movie that was supposed to star Bruce Lee, but unfortunately he died. So David Carradine got the lead role in the movie that was originally supposed to be called The Silent Flute, but it became known as The Circle of Iron. So basically, David Carradine, he played 5 different roles, but his main role was, which he's both the villain and the hero at the same time, which leads to an interesting, another interesting topic of debate. In this story that we're in, is Donald Trump the hero or the villain, or both? And I used to like this TV show called The Shield about a police officer who was corrupt, named Vince. I think that was his name, Vinny or Vince. He would take bribes from the drug dealers, yet he would put the bad guys in jail. So you see, good and evil, they're not necessarily diametrically opposed. They can both exist at the same time, basically. So, anyways, I understand, as soon as the news was out, the stock market boom, went up. So, love him or hate him, America thinks he's good for the economy. But this could be, sometimes what goes up comes down. In a recent prediction, they were showing me a financial crash around February, but something that's necessary in order for the financial system to start to move towards more justice and fairness. Our friend Jared, Who The Channel, and you guys should check that out also. Traveling to India, just kind of saying how unfair it is of so many things. Like a dollar could feed a family for a week there because the exchange rate is so unfair to other countries. Basically, it's programmed poverty in this world, in a world where technology and resources exist to feed everybody 10 times over, yet half the world is hungry. It's a broken system that only benefits a minute few, and the people that are really upset about the Trump victory, hang in there, because it's going to expose a lot of this darkness. It may be that he's the darkness. It may be that he's the light. I think we can debate on that, but we don't know for sure. He may be both. But as I'm saying that, I feel like Spirit is interjecting. He's just a figurehead. It's not him. It's more what he's representing, basically, and that the powers that be, have him in this position, to expose a lot of stuff. So, again, for whatever, I mean, hopefully I'm explaining that right. So, keep an eye on money. This is a good time to invest in metals, gold, silver, like that. Remember, silver is used in technology. Silver is used in weapons, all that stuff. Gold in my estimation, needs to come down a lot before I would put money into gold right now. But silver's still pretty cheap. Last I saw, it was trading around 34. I got in when it was trading at 21, so I made a little money already. But oh, charm, nice, yeah. Chilling, so's Lucifer, yeah. I just look at your comment. Very good, yeah. So very good. Yeah, these are all good shows. This could all be about, there may be a lot of focus on the financial system. I think this is also saying that this week there is actually not necessarily a recount, but we're going to see a lot coming up and a lot with that. We already are, so I think that's just going to snowball over the coming week. And like I said, and a lot of you have kind of chimed in. Um, What's Mr. Floyd saying? Two cabals, Trump and the other side. One cabal wants you dead. One cabal wants you to get rich off of you. All right, yeah, and they're two sides of the same whole, right? So I think that's what you're saying. Um, so I think more of that's coming up. Like you're saying in the beginning, we haven't had a fair election. Like I said, it just the way it went down. It was like, I mean, as soon as I flipped on the I on YouTube and looked, even before the results came in, I mean, I already knew Trump was going to win, but it was just like it's going to win. It's not going to be even that close, and it doesn't feel right. And then 2020, this doesn't feel right. 2016, this doesn't feel right. I don't remember 2012 so much, um, but the most documented is the Bush, not the Kerry one, the Bush Gore one, where there was literally footage of some of the shenanigans that went on in the polling centers. Nobody did anything about it. So politicians have been routinely stealing elections from other politicians, probably longer than I even know, to be quite honest about that. Keep voting for unconditional love. Yes, 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 yes. Same energy, two sides, same coin. So why on earth would anyone invest so much money into them? Well, people are. Why would they do that to perpetuate the divide, right? Why else would they do that? Or either they don't know any better. Yeah, all right. So I think we get the gist. In our lives, stay in your heart. If you're upset, hang in there. It's not going to be the end of the world. It's just part of the process. It's going to lead to awakening. Yeah, when I was channeling before, it's happened a couple of times. They're kind of saying basically, there's different timelines. This is a while back, and the election wasn't decided yet, but that Trump would be one path to awakening, and Harris when he would be another path towards awakening. Basically, Trump one might be a little bit quicker, because that's his personality, that's his energy, basically, and whether it's again through his own darkness, or whether it's just him knowing how to expose the darkness one way or another. It's part of that. Hang in there. That's the message. Hang in there. Let things go. Focus on the heart. Focus on your lives. Because again, it may be for some of us a little bit financially hard for what they're saying. That's not it. It's more like letting go. That's kind of the energy. It's all reverse letting go. It's like look at anything else. Yeah, just stay in your own lane. Same old message. Stay in your heart. It's not fine to express your opinions, but try to stay out of that divide and conquer. Basically, we may even see in the next couple of weeks a lot of stuff getting exposed. I want to move on because we've already been on an hour. I mean, as I said, there's a lot to talk about today. We just did have another very controversial election. Donald Trump being the very polarizing figure that he is. Powers that be, of course, they want him, not necessarily as president, but want him to be visible in the forefront. But then they're scared of him. So there's a lot of different dynamics going on. One of the things that I'd mentioned also is concerns around his health, which might seem obvious, but because I still don't believe, even assuming he is sworn in, I'm thinking about 2.5 years. I don't think he's going to be in for 4. Oh, so you have Chiron in Aries, Millie? Chiron is in Aries, yeah. Yeah, let's send love and peace for that. And again, some people, it's interesting. It's the same rhetoric, election after election. What happened when Biden was elected? Everybody was concerned about communism, socialism. Can't say they were 100% wrong for what happened over the last 4 years, but we're still technically not a communist country. Now, 4 years later, same rhetoric. It's like communism. He's meeting with Putin. So same old, same old. 2020, the election was stolen from us. 2024, the election was stolen from us. Maybe you're both right. Maybe you're both wrong. So anyhow, yeah, let's send a lot of love to that. One of my long-range predictions was by 2030 that USA and Russia will be allies, but not allies like communists, like allies as far as world powers trying to bring a greater sense of awareness and unity in the world. You got a lot to get through in 6 years for that to happen. 5 years now, pretty much. All right. So this is my Native American tarot. So this will give us another. We got Matriarch of Vessels. So we had her a couple of times already. Queen of Cups. Cups is the heart. Cups is water. Again, with the first card, with the Temperance card, 1 foot on the water, 1 foot on the land. So say we have to stay grounded in our life, grounded in our emotions, and really be the walker of two worlds, so to speak, the world of feeling and energy and the world of form and matter. And part of being in the heart is unifying those fields of energy and those fields of reality. So I feel like she's kind of saying the same thing. There's a lot, with this also. It's not going to be all bad. We are seeing the towers falling. Surprised that tower card did literally come up, but we are seeing the tower falling. But we have guidance. We have interdimensional, ascended masters, extraterrestrials that are aware of the awakening. They're aware this is part of it. This is the shift now. This is it. And we've been saying this since this channel's inception in 2020. I don't know if I mentioned 2024. I think I started mentioning 2022, and that's when it really did start to come into this next phase. So anyway, there's that. Moving right along here. I know we all have things to do today. I'm doing my winter cleaning today, so I'm going to be for about 6 or 7 hours cleaning my space. Because I can't open windows too much in the winter, so we pull everything out, dust, do all of that stuff. Make a nice cozy cave. Being in the clan of the cave bear, right? Be in the womb of Mother Earth, with the hibernating bears to assimilate the lessons of the year past. And so I can come out in the spring with new energy, new vigor, new intelligence, new insight and awareness. So this is the time to really go in. And this is a great time for shadow work between now and the winter solstice. Double down on that shadow integration work. A lot of our shadows are coming out because of how we're reacting to the elections. Use that as a positive, not a negative. My advice. Moonology cards. Thank you, Millie, for this gift. The energy is gaining momentum. Waxing moon. Energy most definitely is gaining momentum. But this is what I'm seeing. The energy of peace, the energy of consciousness, that's the energy that's gaining momentum. Creating cracks in the armor of the deep state that's trying to suppress the awakening. I feel it every day. I have to wake up each morning saying I'm strong. I'm not going to be stopped. I'm an unstoppable force, basically. So anyway, so that's what they're saying. So the energy is gaining momentum. So be aware of that in the world. I think the mood is going to be more somber and depressed than angry this week, from what I'm sensing. Maybe that's a lot of the Saturn energy might be part of that, with Saturn stationing. I think the moon's actually in Capricorn now also, right? So we have a lot of that Capricorn, very somber, very Saturnian energy. Saturn station, I think Thursday or Friday goes direct, and then the full moon coming up also. All right, so what's next? How about Isis oracles? This is a gift from Josh of Mr. Floyd's channeling channel. All right. Yeah, I have. Yeah. Thanks, Justine. I have several videos on heart-brain coherence, and I'm actually going to do another one for Thursday. So I'm going to do an updated. I'll come up with a few, new takes on it or new process. But again, it's all going to be based on what Joe Dispenza teaches, what Greg Braden teaches, what Heart Medicine Institute, and the others that are aligned with their teaching. It's all based on the same thing. Here we go. Found my card. And the card that we got is proper burial for freedom, sacrifice to Osiris, Lord of the Dead. And we're still in that season. We're still in Scorpio season. So it's time to, basically let go of what's dead. Let it go. Let the old die, basically. You can do even a little ceremony if you want. What don't I want about myself anymore? What don't I want in my life? What don't I want in my programming, my reactions, or whatever? You make a little ceremony or visualization that bury that, give that back to Mother Earth, back to Spirit with gratitude and thanks. They're also showing me like a knight with the shield. So stay shielded, not in a fear-based way, but in an empowerment way also, and everything. Oh, Chiron's in Taurus now. Okay, so moved out of Aries. Okay. It's like in the Wounded Warrior. That could be really about to me, Chiron and Taurus could be really very good for things like shadow integration, or really kind of understanding what we hold on to, what traumas and pains that we hold on to. That the frequencies keep getting stronger, so it's going to be helpful to releasing that stuff. And ceremonies and rituals, ceremony is good. Yes. So it's funny. I don't have my I don't have my Kyle Gray decks with me. Sorry about that. I wanted to present one of Doreen's gifts too, but I didn't bring that one out. All right. Next time we do one of the Kyle Gray decks. It's so weird. I could have sworn I had that one. All right. Anyways, frequency of the week. Okay, thank you for a little bit of additional meaning. Yes, don't hold on to the past. It's time to bury that crap, right? Thank you. So from the Divine Oracle deck. Spirit wants to keep that year common up longer than I meant to. Let's put a lot of prayers out there to Laura. Husband battling cancer. Lots of prayers for Doug, for the highest and the best for his healing. So you some militants, yes, or Lilith, Dark Moon Lilith in Scorpio. Yeah. Interesting, yeah. Here's for Doug. All right. And again, for anybody's comments that I'm missing, I just can't keep up with you guys. You're a little too quick for me. All right. Thank you, Kate Haley, for that. Well, what do you know? Coherence. I think this is the third time in the last few months that we got coherence. The frequency of coherence supports our ability to harmonize the frequency of the heart and the frequency of the mind for an optimal ability to create the reality that we desire. So heart-brain coherence is a great tool for manifestation, because when you create a unifying field of energy when you do heart-brain coherence. So the idea is feel grateful, right? That brings the heart into coherence. But with law of attraction, because time is not linear, all times are happening now. Once you can step into the present moment and transcend the physical and step into the quantum, you're in that realm where all time and all realities exist. So that's when you get really into the heart and really feel grateful for the now. But what do you want to create in your life? It's already real. So I shouldn't say want to create. What is your wish, your dream in your life? And visualize it, not just seeing it with your mind, especially if you have aphantasia or you're not a good visualizer. Feel it, see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, make it real in your mind. Yeah, that's the brain, right? That's our intention. And feel as if it's already happened and feel grateful for it. That's the heart. That's the magnetic field. When you can really bring those together, you create a magnetic energy that you attract what you desire to your life. And that's when all those weird synchronicities show up. Joe Dispenza teaches this. I'm kind of sharing some of his wisdom with you right now when I'm talking about that. And yeah, so you can just kind of gaze in the center of this and meditate on it, and then that'll help bring the heart and the brain back into coherence, back into unity. And there you have it. Yeah, 111. That's how long we've been on. So, a couple of quick things to go on. Let me do quickly totem animal and our last angel message. Monday, 11/11. God, how could I not talk about 11/11? 11/11 is the portal, right? I did a video on that. Things you might not know about 11/11, unless you follow the Medium channel, and you do know it because not the first time I've said it. But we're going to do a transmission, a very powerful transmission to step into the 11/11 portal. That's the portal of spiritual awakening. So this is a heightened opportunity now to step into a higher level spiritually, like every year on 11/11. Now, interestingly, 11 can also be about overcoming, because it's the lion muzzle and clenched fist in Chaldean numerology, and it's the strength card in old tarot, not new tarot, but in old tarot, the strength card is key 11. So why is that important? Well, it's also Veterans Day, right? The veterans that that served, that sacrificed in order to serve the highest good, which is the USA or the country. So it's interesting that and I don't think a coincidence that Veterans Day falls on 11/11, where we have this energy to overcome the lower natures of ourselves. Certainly, war is a lower nature, right? So can look at our veterans not as warmongers, but more like warriors that want to keep the peace, but understand the playing field and understanding sometimes you need to be capable of greater war in order to establish the peace. It's just the reality that we live in. It's just what is. So I'm very much an idealist, but I'm also a spiritual warrior. You can be an idealist and a warrior at the same time. This is what I desire. This is my vision of the future. But I also assess my playing field, because warriorship is about strategy. I assess the playing field and I come up with the strategies, and I'm impeccable and I'm of honor. That's what warriorship's really about. Some people don't like that word because it contains the word war in it. I understand that words are very powerful, but if you look back in history, warriors were always revered. Warriors meant honor. They meant strength. And that's really, to me, that's even stronger in the collective fields than the actual prefix, the word war. Anyway, just my take, just my opinion. You could have a different opinion. Guess what? I love you just the same. You could like a different candidate. I still love you. That's what we have to practice, the unifying field, right? The heart. That's what we have to practice. So according to the animals, we have to be like boars. Did we get the board last week or the week before? Face your problems head on with confidence and courage, and you will emerge victorious. I know what some of you are thinking, that I need to shuffle my cards better, but no, Spirit is the one picking the same card week after week, because it's a message that we have to keep working on. I do mix my cards up, I promise. So anyhow, there we go. I'm missing a lot of your comments, but thank you anyway. All right, and just to finish up, I have angel therapy card today. I'm gonna very soon buy a deck that's of a like an angel oracle that's not a Doreen Virtue deck. I still love Doreen Virtue. She went a different direction in her path. Still love what she gave us. Right, it's another example of accepting people's differences. She became a born-again Christian. I don't believe in born-again Christianity. Does that mean that I hate her or hate her work? No, I still respect her and her work. So anyhow, I agree, Suzette. Beautiful community. And guess what? You're part of that beautiful community. I'm just the facilitator. You're the community. Well, we're all the community. I'm just acting as facilitator in this very brief snippet of time and space right now. Here we go. We found the card. Base chakra. So yeah, and we got a lot of root energy. So I'm going to flash back to this. Pentacles, Earth, Capricorn energy, all root, all grounded. So this is, I think, a good final message is stay rooted. Do a lot of grounding this week. Again, the deeply rooted trees don't blow down in the storm. The white pines do because they're shallow rooted. With your roots are deep, you're going to withstand the storm. And guess what? You're going to be stronger. What happens if there's a big storm and the roots stand? They get stronger, right? Because they experience the storm, and because they are of divine intelligence, God consciousness or whatever, they have genetically wired within the structure of a tree to develop even stronger roots, a stronger trunk, stronger branches to withstand the next storm, basically. So what did it say? Choose only positive thoughts to describe your home, career, finances, as your words determine your outcome. Words are powerful, but it's the energy behind the words that's even more powerful. Words are what? Like spelling. Why they call it spelling? Spell casting. It's true. But if you've ever studied magic, I have, so I can speak from experience. It's not the words, it's the power of your intention behind the words. It's the emotions that you well up. It's the power that makes it powerful. But that said, words resonate in the collective a certain way, and the words, but all by themselves are powerful too. So anyway, we've been on almost an hour and 20 minutes. Thank you for those of you that hung in for a long time. Once it's very kind of transitional charge period, and we'll go back to doing only 1 hour for tarot time. I do respect your time. So thank you for being here. Love you, everybody. So tomorrow at 7, we're doing a live channeling. It's frequency channeling, activation with the master teachers. A lot of you work with that. So we join in meditation. They work with my energetic fields. They're able to access you. So the idea is to step to the 1111 portal to overcome anything you need to overcome and to come into a heightened state of vibration and awakening. Now, it's not of time and space. A lot of people are doing 1111 meditations. If you choose to go to somebody else's meditation at that time live, great. Enjoy their meditation. You can come back anytime. It doesn't have to be 11:11 to get the benefits of our transmission also. So anyway, that's what I have for you guys. Love you guys. And love what's in the bag. We're going to keep doing the shorts, what's in the bag, to keep honing our psychic abilities. I may do something with numbers all the time also, but at least once a week, one of my shorts is going to be what's in the bag. Yeah, and that's to guess what's in the bag. But I take you through a little mini process, because if you try to guess what's in the bag, you're not going to get it unless you're extremely lucky. But if you vibrationally connect with the bag and get the information, then you might get it. It's not trying, it's allowing. So that's why I do that. So anyway, love you guys. Thank you, Tracy. If I didn't say hi to you personally, thank you. Thank you, Janet, Miss J. Hi, Claire. Thank you. Kaylee. Anybody that Justine, again, anybody that I didn't address individually, it doesn't mean that I love you less. It just means there's probably 500 comments today.